the people who sit in those offices have absolutely no clue what the audience is watching for. And they don't understand that we like a little pushback, and that the language that the right uses. And by the way, can I just tell you this as somebody who does live entertainment every single day? The pressure to be live there's nothing like it. I mean, there's nothing like it in the world. And so there's always going to be, something that, isn't exactly, palatable to whoever, or there's going to be some mistake, or there's going to be a word that slips out, or there's going to be doing live radio is one of, and live television too, is one of the hardest ever. That's why Oprah is a genius. She is Jesus. To do it with such grace, and to do it with such dignity, and to do it with such patience. And although, her guests are properly screened and producers have dealt with them and they know the questions and there's pre-interviews and all that stuff, and it's not exactly what I do, which is just, ask you where you're calling from and what do you want to say kind of thing, and then just go for it and deal with it as it comes. That is something that is so completely unique, that for the people in the offices to sit there and pretend that they have any idea what you as a foot soldier on the front line every day are going to be facing, or are going to have to deal with, or pull a fact out of your ass about this or that, or remember something that happened 10 years ago, and no one who doesn't do it, could ever know. And so I got to tell you, the first place I ever worked that had people who had never done radio was Air America. And that's why that place didn't work. That's why they suspended me indefinitely. To this minute, I'm suspended indefinitely. That's how it ended. Okay? There was nothing more or less to that. And I said, well, if I can't work for you, I'm going to go work for somebody else, and you can sue me if you want to. Either that, or, you have to define what indefinite is. And they didn't want to. And so, I went about my business. I think this happened on a Wednesday, right? And on a Monday, all my affiliates came with me and said, we don't care who you work for or where the show is coming from. Just get us the show. If you can get us the show on Monday, we'll stay with you. We don't care what company it is that's syndicating your show. And nobody cares what company it is that syndicates your show, except for the person who is being syndicated. For me, the reason why I came to Premiere, and people go, why do you work for the same place that Rush Limbaugh works? Why do you work for the people that, employ Sean Hannity or Glenn Beck? Because I know that they're not going to stab me in the back for saying something. And doing live radio, you're going to say stuff. And to work live like they do at MSNBC and not have the support of their company is such a disservice to what they do. And see, that's why I will never miss Air America. I will never miss those people. I had like 6 bosses in 4 years or 3 years, whatever it was I worked for them. It was a nightmare scenario. Okay. It really was, because you had people that did not understand what the job was or what the pressure was or what you were dealing with every day. They just had an idea of how you should do it. An idea. And they all thought it was really easy. And some of them would plop themselves on the air, and suddenly the on-air thing would come on, the light would go on, and they would just freeze. And they would need to surround themselves with co-hosts and other people and guests. And, this is really, it's a talent. You either, can do it or you can't. But don't sit there and say you don't have the full support of the company. And if we don't like what you say live on your radio show, then your television job goes away. Why would anybody want to work for them? And to misunderstand the audience in this way. And, look, I am doing something for Ed that Ed would never do for me. That's fine. He would not defend me when all this crap happened to me. He didn't defend me. And that's fine. That's him. That's who he is. Fine. I get it. No problem. I'm tough. I'm strong. I'm resilient. I'm independent. I am actually my own person. I don't really care. But what they are doing, trust me, is wrong. And they are taking the confidence out of that person by doing it. They did it to Olbermann, and yes, I'm sure he treated his staff badly, and I'm sure he's a blowhard, and I'm sure he's difficult to work for. I've heard a million stories. But this was the audience. He built that audience. And, they punished him for it. Now, why would you want to do that? Mike in Milwaukee.
Hey, Randy, how you doing? And see, the problem I have with it, too, is that, like one of your other callers said earlier, He did this.
Do I really have to sit here and listen to Donna Brazile talk about Ed Schultz? Honest to God.
No,
I mean, come on.
No, but I'm just saying he says it on the show, on the radio show. But MSNBC, it did not surprise me one bit that MSNBC did this. And I shot off an email to them saying, you guys need to grow a spine over there. Like the one caller said, you need to realize who actually watches these shows.
That's right.
Because I don't think they understand this. Like when like Ed's off the air now on at night. I don't watch the show at that time. I turn that television on to watch him. I dial you in my office on this computer to listen to you. Even when you're gone sometimes, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but when you're not there, it's not the Randi Rhodes show to me anymore. It's somebody else there filling in. They do a good job, but I'm just not as attentive. People tune in to listen to certain people. I watch that television to watch him. I watch Lawrence O'Donnell. I watch, Rachel Maddow. I turn the television on to watch them because they give me the information that I need.
It is, this is really, really important what you're saying. It really is. It's very, very important what you're saying. And I would hope, and I would really, really hope that the people at MSNBC, the ones that are making the decisions, that they understand that in all of cable, okay, there's maybe 3 million people out of 308 million Americans, 150 million adults, let's say. And now you're down to less than 1/10% watching cable news. And they've got, maybe 1 million people, and Fox has maybe 2 or 3 on a good night. Do you really want to piss off the little niche that you have?
Right.
I mean, I never understood it when it was happening to me. I didn't understand it. I thought, and sure as crap, when listen, I don't want to say anything, egotistical, because it's really not my intention. But when I left Air America, the whole thing just went away. That was it. It was done.
Right. But here's the thing too, that ticked me off. I don't want to say that word. Ticked me off. What happened to you? You were out in San Francisco doing some stand-up comedy.
Right.
Away from Air America. Then Air America got rid of you. And I remember, I don't know if you remember me, but I called you when you were back on the air. I was like so glad that you were back on the air because I kind of tuned Air America out. Yeah, I liked Al Franken. I liked Sam Cedar. I liked, the other folks that were there. But you, to us, and I ain't just saying it because I'm talking to you, you were Air America. When you turned it on, bing, that's what we tuned in for. They don't understand this stuff for some reason. And I think there's a lot of us out there who, when we lose our voices, like Ed Schultz, like you, like Keith Olbermann, it's like a blow to the gut.
Well, what you have are suits who think they're stars. You have people who have never done this for a living, who don't understand that you need a certain level of confidence that you're going to be backed up should the crap hit the fan. Now, before I went to Air America, and I don't want you to say I was Air America, because that was the worst, branding.
Well, you know what I mean. I don't mean you were.
I know what you mean.
I mean in terms of, for me, listening to it.
No, I know. I know what your sentiment is.
And I liked Al Franken.
Well, the really strange thing is that when you do this for people who have never done it, people who have never been on camera, never have done live radio, never have done live TV, don't understand what it is, and they think that they know, the pressure or the talent it takes or the stamina or the brain power to be able to, do it on the fly. It takes a whole bunch of confidence to do it. And listen, I remember when I first auditioned for talk radio. It was the longest audition in the history of show business, I think. I had to be on the air for an entire week before I found out I had the job. And the second I found out I had the job, the next day, okay, I felt totally different because now I felt like I had a crew. Now I felt like I had a company. Now I felt like I was protected. Now I felt like I was part of the team. And so suddenly I was able to fly, really take off, really go where I was scared to go before, where I didn't know if it was okay. I didn't know, you take that confidence away from somebody and you've just killed the goose that laid the golden egg.
Let me ask you this, and give me your honest opinion. I know your honest answer. Do you think that Limbaugh, Hannity, Ingram, and O'Reilly and all, do you think they believe the stuff that they're saying?
No.
See, that's what I call them. That's why I say I just when I heard Ed say that, I go, yeah, they're corporate shills, they're whores. They can't possibly believe this stuff, And
they don't believe it, and there's no evidence for them to believe it. We've tried everything that they want to try.
But they're just doing it for the money.
Right. I mean, well, you know what? They're entertainers, and that's what they will tell you, okay? In their defense, they will say that they're not supposed to be the last word in anything, that they're just entertainers, and you should take them that way.
Well, Bill O'Reilly loves to tell us he's looking out for us.
Well, it's just, part of his shtick. That's what they will say. Unfortunately, this is where people have an intimate relationship to people who they want to trust.
But the difference between them and you is that you tell us, don't believe anything I tell you.
Ever.
Go to my website and look at it. And then it's like a teacher, it's like that guide to discovery. You'll get a little bit, and then you're going to want a little bit more, you're going to want a little bit more. I never hear them say, don't take my word.
No, they do the exact opposite. They say, you don't need to read a newspaper. This is all you'll ever need. Now, that's what makes it scary. But I will say, we all work for the same company, okay? And I will tell you that I do not fear that I would come to work, make a mistake, or say something, or whatever. I've actually worked for Clear Channel, since 1996, 5 or 6, something like that. Now I work for Premiere, which is the syndication arm. They treat it differently, but it's the same company, basically. I actually had lawsuits filed against me. They never flinch. They never make you feel like, you're without a partner.
Right, I understand.
And yet I look at these liberal organizations, who try to be, and they always backstab their own talent. This is the thing that's irritating me today.
And that's the blow to the gut.
It's the blow to the gut.
I would have loved to have heard Keith Olbermann's take on President Obama getting Osama bin Laden and what the right wing are trying to hijack that and say they.
That's the difference. That's the difference between talent and somebody who's just doing it. Is if you can't wait to hear what they're going to say tomorrow when something's happened, and you say, oh, I can't wait to hear what Randy has to say, or I can't wait to hear what even Rush. I can't wait to hear what Rush has to say. If Nancy Pelosi fell, God forbid, and right? You'd say, oh, it's must listen to. It's appointment radio. Got to hear what she says. Got to hear what. Well, I don't have to hear what anybody on MSNBC says, except for maybe Chris Matthews. That's the problem they have over there.
All right. Well, they better get that problem fixed because I'm like the other caller. They don't know who's listening.
It's exactly the truth. And I'm so glad that we had this conversation because I think, there are people that work there that listen all the time. I know because I hear my words verbatim. And it's the producers, it's the kids that are doing that grunt work. But if they, if perhaps somebody wanders in and hears this, maybe they'll understand, damn it, we are taking away the confidence our hosts need by not supporting them. And 2, this doesn't really make us different than Fox. You know what this does? This pisses off our audience. Right. Thank you. 49 after.
Randi Rhodes.
Your personal hotline to the cold, hard truth. 866-87-RANDY. This is The Randi Rhodes Show.
You're listening to Seattle's Progressive Talk, AM 1090. Now playing online live at am1090seattle.com.